What's up and how's it going, guys? RobBoss99 here, and I don't know about you, but I love when stories have well-written characters, and I especially love when the well-written character is a villain. Without villains in storytelling, there would be next to nothing for heroes to do. Conflict is an essential part of any good story, and villains can easily create conflict for heroes. Whether the villain is someone forced into a shell of their own making, a nutcase heck-bent on world domination or destruction, or a bad guy who goes on a triumphant character arc and realizes their greatest enemies are the lies they've been told, and go on to help the heroes they fought against defeat a bigger threat than both of them. A well-written villain is an essential part of any story. Sonic Forces. I'm not going to beat a dead horse and tell you all how bad the game was, I'm sure you're all very much aware, but I am going to bring up any important criticisms in regard to the character in this game who was crushed before they even had a chance to shine. The character that could have been the next Shadow the Hedgehog but turned into the, 7th? Yeah, the 7th most boring villain in this franchise. Infinite the Jackal. Also called Zero the Jackal, apparently. You've all played Forces, you all know how bad Infinite was. He shows up, claims he has unlimited power, and then goes down to Sonic. Twice. And also just some random guy who picked up a gun for the first time 2 days ago, because that makes sense. Also, he has next to no impact on the story, which isn't good since he's kind of the main villain. If you're a main character, at least contribute to the story. Not to mention, his entire character is confused on what it actually is. Infinite claims that he's his creation, but in Episode Shadow, as well as the canon comics that came out before the game, those show us that Infinite was just a normal Jackal named Zero, before choosing to use the Phantom Ruby to become more powerful, just because he was upset at Shadow for beating him? That's a pretty weak backstory. So this guy doesn't do anything for the story, isn't a threat at all, his entire existence is a fake and confusing mess that spreads across multiple forms of media, and the only redeeming quality about him is his theme song? Yeah. Okay, launch the game. There is more than enough evidence to prove that Infinite as he is, kinda sucks. But I don't know why, I keep coming back to him. He has all the ingredients for being a good villain. He has a cool concept, a great design, a bangin' theme song. All he needs is to actually impact the story he's in and have a reason for doing so. He needs motive, a clear backstory, and something to help us understand where he's coming from. Something preferably not confusing. As an example of an interesting villain in something, Shadow the Hedgehog. In Sonic Adventure 2, he had an essence of mystery to his character, which kept us interested in him as the story goes on to reveal his pretty tragic backstory, which helps us sympathize with him. He had a clear motive and an intriguing backstory. Back to Infinite, he doesn't have any of that. He has no rivalry with Sonic, no compassionate episodes, he's a blank slate. And since there's nothing there, there's nothing to ruin if we try and fix it. There are so many ways Infinite's character could have been better, and so many ways it could be better. We could try and just rewrite Forces, but you can't really change the past. Unless you're Lucasfilm. Besides, the IDW comics take place after Forces, and I feel like continuing Infinite's story could be a good way to develop his character, but what would his character do? Would he try and find Sonic and get revenge? Would he settle down and just start a farm in the middle of space? We don't know. The game told us nothing about this guy, so he really could go either way. In my headcanon, I see Zero as like a vessel for the Phantom Ruby who calls itself Infinite. The Ruby is like a parasite, controlling Zero without his consent, using his body and feeding off of his rage to fuel his world-ending desires. And sorry. Just so much that I've imagined could happen to this character, but it's a long story. To make a long story short, Sonic at the end of Forces basically shattered the Phantom Ruby that was on Infinite, weakening its power, which is why I can see an almost Jekyll and Hyde situation where Zero and Infinite are fighting for control of themselves. To sum it all up, I really like Infinite and the potential he holds as a Sonic villain. But as he is, he's just not that good. It doesn't help that he came out in Forces. He probably had the most failed potential out of any character in this franchise. He could have been a fantastic character with zero flaws, but now he's stuck in Forces as an infinite disappointment. But that doesn't mean he has to stay there. He could come back and turn into a fascinating character who gives fans chills or gets them excited when he triumphs over his hardships. But until Ian Flynn puts this Jackal through his refining fire, which I'm still holding out for, please, Ian Flynn. He will sit there, waiting for the day his potential is realized. What's up, guys, and thanks for watching. I want to know, though, do you guys think Infinite has potential, or do you think he should just be left to rot with the rest of forces? Do you think another character has more missed potential than Zero? Let me know what you think in the comments. Well, I'm gonna go hate forces some more, so don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed, share with someone you think would enjoy listening to an unqualified teen complain about how a Jackal was written. Subscribe if you want to see more, and until next time, see ya! So wait, Zero was the leader of a group of mercenaries who was tricked into becoming a weapon of mass destruction by a mad scientist? Yeah. Why didn't you tell us that?